Now, let me tell you something. There is a moment in every dying relationship, where one knows, the truth. But instead of walking away, they hold on very tight, not because things are getting better, not because they remember how good it used to be. Maybe you're right now, okay? That's where you are right now. You're in love with someone who is no longer present. They stopped calling, they stopped caring, and slowly they stopped trying. But you're still there, you're still here, trying and fighting alone. You keep making excuses for them. You tell yourself they are just busy, they are just stressed. Maybe it is just a phase, but deep down you feel it. You feel it in the silence, in the cold replies, in the way they no longer look at you the same. You try harder, you text more, you check their socials, just feel closer. You stay up late crying into your pillow, wondering where it all went wrong, and still you don't leave. Why? Because walking away feels like failure. Because you don't want to admit that, all your effort, all your love, and all your prayers, maybe it didn't work out. You think maybe if you just hang in a little longer, they will come back. Maybe they will change and maybe they will love you again. But here is let me tell you the truth that no one likes to hear. You cannot fix a relationship by yourself. No matter how loyal, how patient, or how loving you are, it is only you fighting. It's already over. You're not in love anymore. You're in pain and you're calling it love. And that's what this video is all about, okay? I'm going to be talking about the 5 deep signs that you're forcing a relationship that is already dead. And I'm not just giving you signs, okay? I'm giving you the truth you may have been avoiding for long. Not to hurt you, but to make you feel free, because I know how it feels to hold on when everything is falling apart. And I also know how powerful it feels when you finally let go of what is breaking you. So I want you to listen very closely. Now, if these signs around, maybe the signs I'm going to be telling you, if they sound like your story, maybe it is time to stop, chasing someone who is already gone, and maybe start choosing yourself again, okay? Now, sign number 1, if you are the only one trying. There is no pain quite like the pain of fighting of someone who is no longer fighting for you, okay? You wake up very early in the morning every day, you're thinking, what can I do to fix this? You send a good morning text, and even when they have not replied to your last message, you ask them if they have eaten, even if they didn't ask about your whole day, you're going to be asking them how the day was, you keep trying. Because love in your heart means never giving up, but love is not meant to be lonely. Love is not meant to feel like maybe like a one man's war. You plan the dates, you keep the conversations alive, you remember the small things, you apologize first, even when you did nothing wrong, not because you're weak, but because you're afraid that if you stop trying, it will all fall apart, What you don't realize is that it is actually already falling apart, and you are the only one holding the pieces. Real love requires mutual effort. Okay? It does not survive on one person's energy. But when the calls always come from you, when the hugs are one-sided, when the I miss you messages go unanswered, that's not love. That's not love. That's emotional labor. It's like watering a plant that is already dead, and then you hope maybe it will bloom again. It won't, They might not even notice you're trying. They have become comfortable watching you carry the weight of the relationship. You make the sacrifices, and they make the excuses. You forgive over and over, and they repeat the same behavior, and still you stay, hoping that maybe one day they will finally wake up and realize how lucky they are to have you. But what if they don't, okay? What if maybe your love becomes invisible? What if you spend years giving your best to someone who is giving you the worst? That is the danger of forcing a relationship. You start believing that effort can replace interest. Okay, that patience can replace presence, and that hope maybe can replace honesty, but it cannot. And at some point, you have to ask yourself a painful but necessary question. If I stopped trying today, will this relationship survive tomorrow? And if the answer is no, then maybe you're not in a relationship, but you're just keeping a ghost alive. And no matter how deeply you love them, you cannot love someone or maybe someone who is not loving you back. I must tell you that. If you're the only person trying, if you're the only person trying, and your partner is not giving the same try or something, then you may not have a relationship. Now, number 2, it is if, for example, it is emotionally draining, okay? I mean, no, not loving. If it's emotionally draining, not loving, then that means you're in a wrong relationship. Let me tell you something. Love should feel like warmth, like safety, like coming home after a long day, hard day. But when a relationship drains you more than it lifts you, then something is very wrong. You might wake up feeling heavier than when you went to sleep. Your heart is tired before the day even begins, okay? And no matter how much you try to hold on, the emotional weight keeps pulling you down. You start noticing you're not yourself anymore. You're anxious about small things, texts and unanswered plans, cancelled moods that, change like the weather. And you find yourself walking on eggshells, afraid to stay, or maybe do the wrong thing. Every conversation, it feels like a minefield where one wrong word could actually explode into silence of anger. And you want to be close, but the distance feels bigger than ever. So true love does not make you question your worth every day. It does not make you doubt your feelings or maybe feel like you're never enough. But forcing love feels like constantly climbing a mountain with no peak in sight. You're exhausted from trying to fix what is broken, yet no matter how much energy you spend, the cracks only get bigger. Sometimes you might even catch yourself making excuses for their coldness. Maybe they are just stressed, maybe they are going through something I don't understand, but deep inside you know the truth. You know that love does not have to feel this way all the time. It shouldn't leave you emotionally bankrupt and questioning your own sanity. And the hardest part, when you love someone deeply, you convince yourself that pain is just part of the price you pay for love. That sacrifice means suffering. But love that is very true builds you up, okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't tear you down. If you feel drained more than loved, then you're forcing a relationship that is already dead. I must tell you, you're forcing a relationship that is already dead. You're not supposed to feel more drained than loved, okay? You're supposed to feel loved instead of being drained. So if you feel drained, that means you're probably in a very complicated relationship. Now, sign number 3. If your gut keeps warning you, your gut never lies, okay? And it's that quiet voice inside, the feeling in your chest that can not be explained with words. Sometimes it whispers, other times it screams, but it always tries to protect you. Now, if you're very honest with me, and also honest with yourself, you've left it for a while now. That is something wrong. You might find yourself making excuses for your partner's behavior, but the nagging feels remains, okay? When you say I love you, it doesn't reach your heart. When you smile, it feels distant, like you're looking at a stranger. And your instincts tell you that the person you're with is no longer the person you fell in love with. Ignoring your gut is like, crossing your eyes while walking in a dangerous path. You hope the ground will hold, but deep down you know the risk. You might fear the truth because it means facing heartbreak, loneliness, or change, so you push the feelings aside, convincing yourself that maybe everything will be okay if only they come around. But the body knows more than the mind sometimes. Your gut senses the absence of love and the lack of passion and the growing distance. It picks up on the unspoken words and the half-hearted promises and the moments when you feel invisible. So that the instinct is your most honest guide in the dark. The hardest part is trusting yourself enough to listen, because listening means accepting the painful truth that the relationship might be over. It means breaking the cycle of hope and disappointment. And it means finally choosing your own peace over the fear of being alone. So when your gut keeps warning you, don't silence it. It's trying to save you from more pain, from holding on to a love that no longer loves you back. So you should always trust your gut. I'm telling you, if your gut tells you something, please always trust it. Sometimes it is always warning you, and it's always, trying to shape you. It's always trying to show that maybe there is something wrong with this, and something for you just ignore it. It is really hard. Now, 5 is if they make you feel like you're asking for too much. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. Love is not supposed to come with conditions, okay? But if every time you ask for basic respect, honesty, or time, you're met with frustration, you're met with anger, you're met with silence, then you're being told loud and clear that you're asking for too much. You want to hear the words I love you, not because you're needy, but because those words build trust and connection, okay? You want to be able to ask for honesty, to know where you stand without feeling like you're starting a war. When you need... okay, let me tell you something. When your needs are dismissed as too sensitive or clingy, then it is a very good sign that your feelings don't matter to them. They want the good parts of you, your love, your company, your energy, but they don't want to give the same in return. maybe you try to explain yourself calmly only to be told you're making things very complicated. Or when you say you need time together, they accuse you of controlling them. And this constant gaslighting wears you down. It makes you question your own worth and also sanity. But remember this, okay? Asking for love, respect, and commitment is not making or maybe asking for too much, because it is asking for what every person deserves, okay? And if you feel guilty for expressing your needs, you're with the wrong person. True love nurtures your heart. It does not make you feel like a burden. If they make you feel like you're asking for too much, then you're forcing a relationship that is already lost on its way, okay? It has already lost the way. Like that. Because if you ask for love and also, ask for these things and they tell you, hey, bro, you're asking for much. Bro, I must tell you, you're not asking for much, but because you're in a wrong relationship. Now, sign number 5. If you already know it's over, but you're afraid to accept it, that is also another issue. What am I saying? Sometimes the hardest truth face is the one staring right at you. Deep down in your heart the relationship is over, but your heart refuses to accept. You hold on to memories, hopes, and what could have been instead of what it is. It's a painful place to be, yes, caught between reality and denial. You remember the laughter, the late night talks, the dreams you shared. You think about the good times and also convince yourself that maybe, that if you try so harder, it will come back. But love is not about trying harder when the other person has already checked out. It's about mutual presence. It's about care. It's about commitment. It's about the things that cannot be forced. Fear keeps you trapped, okay? Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear that no one else will love you like they did, or like maybe you want them to. These fears make you ignore the signs, dismiss the pain, and also stay in a relationship that is slowly killing you. And you may find yourself asking, what if I live and regret it? But if living in fear is not living at all, it is surviving a nightmare where you are awake but you cannot escape. Accepting that it's over does not mean you failed. No. It means you're brave enough to stop living a lie. It means you're choosing your presence. You're choosing your peace. You're choosing your growth and your future's happiness over temporary comfort. You cannot heal if you don't let go. You cannot heal if you don't let go. I'm telling you the truth. If you want to heal, then you must let go. If something is not meant to be, it won't. Now, how do you let go and heal? This is also another question. How do you let go and heal? Letting go is one of the hardest things you will ever do. But it's also one of the most, freeing. It's not about forgetting the person or erasing the memories, yes. But it's also about releasing the pain and also making space for something better. Healing begins when you decide to stop holding on to what is already broken. Okay, and you start giving yourself permission to feel. It's okay to cry, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to feel lost. Suppressing your emotions only prolongs the pain. Write down your feelings, talk to a trusted friend. If you have a friend you trust, you can talk to them, or simply sit with your thoughts in silence. Acknowledging your pain is the first step towards healing. And next, you have to cut ties with that keep you stuck. Unfollow them on social media, delete their number if possible, and also avoid places you used to go together. This is not about being cruel. It's about protecting your heart. Every time you see reminders, the wound reopens. Distance creates the space your heart needs to mend. You need to focus on yourself. Rediscover your passions, pick up old hobbies or try something new. Invest time in your mental, emotional, and physical health. Surround yourself with positive people who uplift and support you. Remember, your happiness does not depend on someone else. No, it comes from within. You have to forgive, not for them, but for yourself. Forgive the mistakes, the broken promises, and also the lost time. Holding on to bitterness only weighs you down. Okay, letting go of resentment feels, it frees you to live free again. Healing is not linear. All I must say is not linear. There will be good days and also bad days. But with patience and self-love, you will emerge stronger, wiser, and ready for the love you truly deserve. Okay, so if you want to let go, please let go and heal. Now, let me tell you something. You're worthy of a love that lifts you up, no one that drags you down. Okay, you deserve a partner who sees your value, who matches your effort, and also cherishes your heart. Never settle for less than you deserve. Okay, no matter how lonely or scared you feel, remember, walking away is not losing, it's winning. It's winning your peace, your dignity, and your freedom. It is the courageous choice to choose yourself over pain, growth over comfort, and hope over despair. The love you're meant to have will come when you already receive it, when you're ready actually to receive that. And when you've healed, grown, and no longer chase what doesn't serve you, until then, you'll finally, you'll be free, okay? You have to treat yourself with kindness, patience, and respect, just as you would want to be treated. Your story is not over. It's just beginning. Every ending is a new beginning. The pain you feel today is shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. One who will recognize true love when it finally arrives, okay? So I want you to stand tall, breathe deep, and step forward with courage. Your heart will heal, and soul will find peace. And one day, trust me, you will look back and realize that letting go was the best thing you ever did. Okay? Okay? Hey, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let's meet on the next video. My name is Dedan. Okay? I love you so much.